Dirtbags. All right. All right. All right, here we go. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. I thought I was going to be blocked out due to a signal problem, but things came through just in the nick of time for me. Don't have a whole lot of time, so I just want to recap what I saw last night. Everybody's talking about the whipping that the Eagles put on the Chiefs last night. Well, I predicted the Eagles would win this game all along for various reasons. The primary reason I thought that Philadelphia would win is because everybody gets all fixated on milestones and accomplishments. I think milestones are great to talk about once they've been achieved, but you can't go into a championship game with an expected outcome that hasn't unfolded yet. So everybody get all excited about what could happen, not realizing that the action hadn't taken place yet. It's the second time I've seen that. The first time I saw it was Super Bowl 42. Everybody and their mama wanted New England to go undefeated. They forgot about the other team over there. They were focused, laser focused, and they didn't have all that historic pressure on them. Kansas City, they would have been the first team to win 3 straight Super Bowls, but they would not be the first team in the modern Super Bowl era to win 3 straight. That honor still belongs to Green Bay. They won the last NFL championship before the Super Bowl. Then they won the first 2. So that is a bridge between the old and the new. But apart from that, I told you there were a lot of similarities with Super Bowl 42 and this game. And not only were the Eagles reminiscent of what the Giants were doing, they were playing great football in all phases of the game, but they had a front four that can get after that quarterback. I told you, in all my born days, I've never seen a quarterback who can throw on his back. And Mahomes is just the latest in a long line of quarterbacks who have suffered the same fate. If you put enough pressure on a quarterback and get him off his spot, and even if you don't get to him, he can hear you and you breathe on him and you touch him every now and then, you can get into his head. He lost confidence in his line very early in this particular game, and they kept coming, and they were getting him. I think they had like 6 sacks overall. And the beauty of the NFL, I think, when you go to the playoffs, a lot of the garbage that they call in the regular season, they tend not to call all that stuff in the biggest of moments. There were a couple of times, like on that strip sack they got on Mahomes late in the game. They stripped him, and he got hit in the face. The dude, what do you call it, mushed him in his face, knocked his helmet halfway off. They didn't call a penalty. That's the kind of thing that the Chiefs have been thriving on the last couple of years. And part of the reason I think they didn't call it is because it didn't make a difference. The game was well in hand at that point, and it was just a matter of can Mahomes get through the game without getting killed. Well, he managed to do that, but so as much as we worried about the officiating, it didn't really take hold. But a lot of the calls that the Chiefs don't get during the regular season, they got last night. So it's a form of turnabout. It's fair play, in my opinion. But it didn't seem to start out that way. That pass interference call on A.J. Brown was horrible. He tried to make it up when they called what they hit the dude, receiver, Philadelphia receiver got hit, glancing blow, he pushed him. There was nothing really there, but they called a penalty for that. So at that point, you start to worry about the officiating. But when the Chiefs couldn't get off early, And you had a sense that the officiating, they weren't going to have much of a factor in this game. But my particular prediction were pretty much on point because I said that they weren't going to let Barkley just run through them. And if nothing else, they were going to wrap up Barkley. I think he had like 60, 62 yards. But I did say that he would struggle early and then come back in the second half and get stronger as the game go on. He got a little stronger, but not much. And I thought Travis Kelce would struggle also early. He did, but he struggled the whole game. So I was correct there. But I also said that if Philadelphia is able to get those play action passes and hit them in timing, then that would be problematic for Kansas City. And they didn't do anything to change my opinion. But I think, again, the weight of trying to do something, whether a three-peat, whether they want to admit it or not, that had to be in the back of their mind. Everybody wants to be part of history, but you got to take care of business first. Then you worry about history. Philadelphia didn't have that constraints. Plus, they had that front four, just like the Giants did. So everything, in my opinion, was in Philadelphia's favor going in. It was their game to lose. All right, Big Sam. Hurts played a solid game. He did play a solid game. He did better than I thought he'd do without that running game. I thought that if you can stop Barkley, you have to stop him from running. Chiefs didn't do that. So that's the one thing that I thought that if you stop the running game and keep Hurts in the pocket, he couldn't stand in the pocket to beat you. But the fact that he was able to run threw that theory out the window. So the Chiefs only cut one problem out. They didn't cut the running quarterback problem out. So JC says I knew Philly defense was good, but I was surprised how they shut down Kansas City and Mahomes. Well, again, like I've been telling you guys, no quarterback can throw on his back. And if you can get to Mahomes or any other quarterback, he's going to have a hard time beating you when he's backpedaling and throwing the other way. Now, what surprised me about Mahomes, those two interceptions, that was critical. I don't know what he was looking at, but he pretty much threw two right into the hands of the defenders. And that pretty much was the backbreaker for the Chiefs. So you have to give the Eagles credit for that, but you don't throw passes like that in those situations. All right. So I asked, was the victory a fluke? I know the answer to this one. 100% of you say no. Well, if you don't think it's a fluke, then you tell me what happened to Kansas City last night. Well, what was your opinion about? Do you think they were not prepared? Do you think that they should not have been in the game itself? What do you think the problem was with Kansas City last night? What do you think? As I was watching the game, I thought about Buffalo and what Buffalo might have been thinking as they watched that game. You know, Kansas City won they lost maybe 2-3 games, but they won a whole bunch of single score games, and a lot of that came down to the end. And when you get questionable calls that go your way, it make people start to think. So coming into this game, a lot of the fans felt like Kansas City, they were getting a lot of calls that pretty much slid them through with the Taylor Swift effect. It's kind of like the league is trying to take advantage of that extra support they were getting. And last night, though, if that was the case, that wasn't there. Taylor Swift, nobody else could help the Chiefs last night. And I don't think it mattered to the league because they got all they wanted up to that point anyway. So the Chiefs, they were on their own, man. All right. Jingle Juggernaut. Philly deserves that win. Chiefs shouldn't have went 7-10 and missed the playoffs. I don't think they should have been 7-10, maybe 12-5. And they got rid of they won a couple of games they shouldn't have won for sure. Big Tarzan says rig, online stop blocking, and D-line drop open passes on purpose. Oh, D-Hop. Oh, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that the Chiefs got paid off. I think they got whipped up front, man. And when you beat a team up front, really the football team is the offensive line. If you got an offensive line and a defensive line, you can find somebody to run and catch the ball. This is why you see a lot of high school and college teams Yeah, anybody can carry the ball and throw it on a lower level if you got an offensive and a defensive line, because nobody can stop you at that point. It's the same concept with this tush push that the Eagles have. That's a play that you just can't stop under the current rules. But like I told you before, they're going to keep sending that quarterback in there, and one of those linemen going to get tired of that. They're going to take one of them big meat hooks and wrap it around that quarterback's throat and squeeze until he starts turning colors. He's going to go back to the sideline. He's going to tell the coach what happened, and that's going to be in the quarterback running up in there. And I think it won't. Before it gets to that, the league is going to outlaw it. They're already talking about it because this play here is completely different from any other play that you get in the game of football. It looks more like rugby, and of course, that's not a good image for the league. Now, it wouldn't be an issue if what happened in the Washington game when they kept jumping off sides and the guy flying over the top trying to stop it. I mean, you have to do something. I mean, what else can they do besides do something dirty under the pile? But just like those guys fighting for loose balls, at some point they're gonna do something to their quarterback on the pile. You can't hit him no other way. He's down there in your domain, and he's covered up, and the officials can't see. Oh, it's just a matter of time before they do something to that quarterback. I guarantee you. JC says the KC line didn't protect Mahomes. He was scrambling all game trying not to get sacked. That's because he had to scramble all because they were trying to kill him. And that's the defensive lineman's job. He whipped that big old offensive lineman in front of you, and the prize is the quarterback. And like I tell you guys, no quarterback has ever been able to throw on his back. I know Mahomes is great and all that, but anybody can stand back there and throw darts if you got time. Any pro quarterback will kill you if he has time to throw. But if you get to any quarterback and you push him off his spot, whether it's Mahomes or Marino or Bart Starr, it don't make a difference. None of them can throw the football when they're under pressure. And you can't say that Mahomes didn't do his job. It's just he can't get started if he don't have the time to throw the ball. Now, the part about the game being rigged, I don't think it was rigged last night. I think what you saw was the officiating letting these teams play. And because they let them play, then you got a chance to see who the best team was. And this year it's Philadelphia. But that's the beauty of sports, especially in pro sports. You could get a chance to go back and reset. You go get a couple of pieces in the draft, a few more pieces in free agency, and everything spins around again. So the team that's on the bottom, they got a great chance to turn it all around. Because again, it's about this much difference between the best team in the league and the worst team in the league. All it takes is a few breaks, avoid the injuries, and you got a chance to do something. Now, one thing about Barkley, though, I figured that the Chiefs they had him circled. They had to stop him because they didn't think that Hurts could beat him through the air. I kind of agree with that, but you have to stop him from running first. They weren't able to stop him from running. So if you let a running quarterback, get a little confidence, and by running, getting first downs and converting, then that's the same as completing a whole bunch of passes downfield. And he's going to have a whole lot of confidence when he starts to throw that football. And you saw that last night. But if you're able to take away that run and take away the quarterback run, now you get to see if that quarterback can actually beat you. We know Mahomes can do it if he's got time, or any other quarterback. But running quarterback is a little different. Mahomes is not classified as a running quarterback. You might scramble every now and then, but he's a pure passer and not the kind of guy that you want to have back there with time to throw. All right, what else we got here? So we're up to 8 votes now. Was the Eagles' victory a fluke? 25% say yes, it was. So that means more than one thinks that. Only have like 8 votes. It was not a fluke. I think a lot of people are surprised at the way it went down because you got all caught up in the fact that they had a chance to three-peat. And like I said, when you start putting these historic moments and the excitement gets out there, and that's all the Chiefs were asked about, the three-peat this and the three-peat that. They weren't asking Philadelphia all that kind of stuff. All they were focused on was trying to win a championship. And they had that other motivation of being the team that lost 2 years ago to the same team. So they were locked in and ready to go. But I told you all along, this team here had that look that like they're ready to play some football. And Kansas City, they've been surviving by the hair on their chin. And like I told you a month or two ago, eventually that rabbit's foot, they're going to lose it. And they lost it last night. But what's going to happen in the future? What will Kansas City do? Well, they're going to have to revamp that line, and they got to be more committed to running the football. They come out trying to throw. You got to establish a line of scrimmage, man, because as much as everybody is all pass happy, it still comes down to the basics, blocking and tackle. You got to be able to run the football. Barkley showed you that. If you got an effective back, Derrick Henry, the same thing. If you got an effective back, then you pretty much can do what you want to do. But if all you want to do is spread and try to do the same things everybody else is doing, if your personnel does not dictate that, then why would you go down that path? And football is cyclical, just like a lot of things. And I think that the running back is going to be coming more in vogue again. And because of that, I think they should stop paying the quarterbacks all this exorbitant amount of money and spread it around and give it to the running backs and the offensive linemen, because they are the key to winning football teams. But that's just my opinion. But the Eagles now, they got 5 championships in their history. Yeah, I know they only won 2 Super Bowls, but again, a lot of you people are surprised to find that the NFL actually had championships before the Super Bowl. The Eagles won it in 48 and 49. Then they came back in 1960, won that one. I think they knocked off Green Bay. And then they got the 2 Super Bowls, 52 and now 59. So they got 5 championships in their history. I posed the question, if they lost that game, that would give them a 1-4 mark in the Super Bowl, and would that put them in the same company with Buffalo? I think it's ridiculous to give Buffalo such a hard time because they lost 4 straight. But that goes back to the people who only time they watch football is when they see the Super Bowl. So they had an image of Buffalo losing all the time. But Buffalo is actually a great team. You got to be great to get yourself in that position 4 years in a row. It just happens on that night, things didn't work out for them. But that's just like life. Football is just like life. You got one chance. And if you don't show up on that one night, you're going to get beat. And it's not the NBA or baseball where you can lose 3 games and still be alive for a championship. That's not the way life works. And so you got to give Buffalo their credit. Minnesota, they were the first team to lose 4 Super Bowls. Philadelphia avoided that. But the team was tied for the most Super Bowls, New England with Pittsburgh. They got 5 Super Bowl losses, but nobody ever talks about the fact that New England has 5 Super Bowl losses. They lost 2 before Brady got there, and they lost 3 with him. So don't believe the hype, man. But congratulations to the Eagles. But my Steelers, we're going to be back next year. Going to make a few changes. I don't know what we're going to do with the quarterback, but the coach, he's promised a new look Steelers next year. So I guess he's going to go away from the old style of play that the Steelers are known for. And how he's going to do that, I don't know. But I know one thing. The first thing he needs to do, he needs to find a way to stop that Ravens running game. If you can't stop the Ravens running game, then you're going to be back in the same position where you are now. And you got to start there in your own division and then branch out from there. But it don't take much. You just got to get on a roll and make the right decisions personnel-wise and get a quarterback and decide on it. Don't talk trash like you did this year, talking about that's why you get paid the big bucks. Well, you don't get paid the big bucks to lose the last 5 games of the season. So be careful when you talk a little trash. Travis Kelce was guilty of that. You know, he didn't have a word to say last night. You know, if you recall those celebrations when they win the championship, how much trash they talk. Well, they had nothing to say last night. So it's best to be even keel when you win, and that way you don't have to swallow too much humble pie when you lose. All right. GTS fool, what are you talking about? 3-peat fueled the Eagles all week. I'm sure it did. They say Russell Wilson leaving Steelers headed to Las Vegas to play for Pete Carroll. that wouldn't be a bad move, but Pete Carroll already got rid of him one time, so why would you go back to the same guy that shipped you off before? John Hand, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I guess you're calling me a fool. All right. So I guess the Steelers going to go with Justin Fields. Why not? It's the same kind of quarterback that's having success now. Russell Wilson is more built for the old style of football. Justin Fields breaks down just like Hurts. He take off and run and get you 30 yards. But can he throw it when it counts is the question. It's always the question for quarterbacks like that. But I don't know. Time will tell on that. But you got to say congratulations to the Eagles. And we got to say a prayer because no more football, meaningful football until the end of August. I know this USFL and the other league that they have, that's a small consolation. But, I don't know if I didn't get into it the last year. And I probably won't watch much of it this year. But, maybe I can survive with the NCAA tournament. Maybe that will help. But again, basketball is just something to do until football comes around. So I guess I'll watch some of that and that'll get me through the summer. No Olympics this year. So I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I guess I could just go to work like I'm about to do right now. So I appreciate you guys checking in with me. Like and subscribe. And I'll be back at you in the morning with this AM Sports Bike, man. Until next time, this has been Sports for Real with Coach Hall, AM Sports Bike. I'll catch you guys on the other side. In the meantime, I got to go to work. So I'm out. Check this vote count before I split. All right, most of you are saying the correct thing that it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't. It was a complete whitewash. And if they played again next week, it might not be a 20-point win, but it might not be a 30-point win, but probably about 14. So the Eagles are the best team. Congratulations. All right, I'm out. Peace.